All right, everybody, come on into the Rooted in Progress Stream Center. We are back again.
We call this a special edition.
This is a special edition, another one of Rooted in Progress. We are your favorite hosts, Deanne King and Terrence Middlebrooks.
Yes.
We're continuing our candidate. Oh, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, don't adjust your clocks, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday at 3:10 p.m.
It
Eastern.
is. We're so happy to have you here live. We're continuing our candidate conversation series because as I open every show, there's 1,132,000 candidates.
So 12 million candidates have dropped out since yesterday? Because it was like, or 13 million, because it was 14 million yesterday.
We want to, make sure that we're able to accommodate all of the candidates. We have reached out to all of them. If they say, yes, we want to come on Rooted in Progress and talk to the people, we are here for them.
Yes, and again, this is your time to get out, to prepare yourself to get out and vote. Early voting starts September 4th. The actual election is September 9th. We're here. We want you to follow us on our Facebook, ask questions, chime in.
Yes.
Whatever questions you have to these candidates, this is your place to do it.
This is your time. All right, let's get to it. We have Carrie West running for District 5 Tampa City Council seat, joining us live on Rooted in Progress. Carrie, it is such an honor to see you again.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes, I'm rooted.
You're real rooted at this point.
Yes.
You nice, comfortable, and rooted in progress.
Yeah, I'm progress.
we are happy to have you with us. You have been involved and enthralled in the Tampa community for so long. Give the folks a little bit about your background as it relates to the work that you've done here in Tampa.
Well, in the work I've done in Tampa is that I've been 40 years. I've been in business. I've also have been involved with nonprofits for 35 years. I have been involved in being one of the largest organizations that have supplied the third running of the best events in Tampa for the last couple of years. And that's with Tampa Pride. We've also been involved. I've been a Ybor City Development Corporation member and also a Barrio Latino, working on the barrio in the Ybor City area and maintaining the housing and structure, and also influential in everything that we do kind of in the area of maintaining the cultural landmark historic district.
Yeah, you have done a lot of work here in Tampa. You even brought us a gift. Terrence, pull me up. Let me show the folks our gift that we got.
One.
Carrie bought us a pen. It's super cute, and this is
Tampa.
in relation to Tampa Pride. You have done so much work
12 years
with Tampa Pride.
Pride.
Tell us about your experience with that organization and putting on all of the events with Tampa Pride, and how you're going to use that background if you were to be elected to City Council.
Well, one of the things out there that's really unique about it is that Tampa Pride kind of got separated when one of the Hillsborough County Commissioners didn't like what was going on in the library system and said that there were some books involving Tennessee Williams and some basic authors that she thought was offensive. And the end caps there in the June. And that was at the local libraries, which these are required books you usually have to read when you're in freshmen or sophomores in high school. And so one of the things out there that we started out there was just returning Tampa Pride. And of course, she made mention that the Hillsborough County would not be doing anything with Hillsborough County events or association with Tampa Pride, because she said it's going to be with little t and little p, and they will not be doing any association whatsoever in funding, acknowledgement, or promotion. So for 10 years, we did not have any Tampa Pride in Tampa, but we did, but it's just that officially not in Hillsborough County.
Okay.
So anyway, what we did is we started it back up again in 2014, and with the help of the commissioner at the time, Kevin Beckner, we thank him very much, and everybody on the Hillsborough Council, Hillsborough County Community Board, and here we have it. Started, and there we are, with a bare bones opportunity.
12 years later.
Yeah, so we said, okay, we're going to have it out here. And That's what started out there. And we've grown it to now inclusive of working with a film festival. We've now have 5K run. We said the first year, if we can get up there on 10,000, that'd be great.
Yeah.
In the first year, coming around down the bend, here we find 25,000 people coming down the streets of 7th Avenue.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, that was just like, that was heartfelt.
Yeah.
But we do a lot in the area, and more people have been coming and helping out. And the whole community has supported Tampa Pride because it's nonpartisan. It's just everybody. It's everybody in every which way in all the whole avenue. So we go all around the area.
With that background, what made you decide to throw your hat in the race for District 5?
Well, I did it on the behalf of seeing who was all going to be going in for the candidacy. And there's a lot of people out there that said, oh, we're going to do it. And a lot of people that said they were going to do it and never did it. And it wasn't until the last day, as you might know, that I put my hat in the ring because there were a lot of things I could see that would need changes in Tampa that I thought were very important. And one of them, of course, affordability on housing, of course, the health care and transportation. I had that way back when. I was always saying transportation is a big, big problem in Hillsborough County and in Tampa, and we have to get a lot better transportation systems available. And then we also have to worry about just our elders and not losing, the tax structure, and also making people lose their houses because of the development that's happening out there, and especially in District 5. District 5 is the largest of all the districts here in Tampa, and it goes all the way from Bush Boulevard all the way down to Channelside.
Yeah.
Well, transportation, just dive a little bit deeper into that. What does that look like according to you?
Well, according to me, it was just that we had a lot of places just running down Main Street, and there was no way for a lot of people to even get in contract and get to the buses and or, in for people that were disabled. They couldn't get transportation to and from going to the hospital, going through a doctor's appointment, and working with that, putting that together, there was opportunity for them to go and have offshoots and have the county get involved and say, hey, we need to have transportation for the alternative, and that is for people that really need help.
Okay.
And that's where we went and really strongly went and said, yes, we have to go through there and strongly go and push for off streets, not the main streets, and going and getting more transportation, not cutting off bus transportation at 6 o'clock, but at around a good hour at 11 o'clock at night.
So how do we make those changes, though? Because I know you mentioned you kind of sat back, you saw who was actually in the race.
Well, proactively, we just go out there and just start saying, hey, this needs to be done for the help of all the people of Tampa. Okay. Nobody gets off there and says, hey, I'm getting off work. People that are working in the restaurant industry, they just don't go in there and say, hey, guess what? I got to get home. Sorry, I have to quit serving you right now, because people don't quit. They are out eating and they don't say, oh, I'm sorry, no more eating because I got to go home and no more serving. So people eat after 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And that's when the people that are working, that's when they get off work.
So transportation is a big thing for you.
Yes.
What are some other things that you want to get accomplished if you were to be elected?
Well, of course, definitely the health. Healthcare has always been a big part of my life. My father had polio and rheumatic fever, and he overcame a lot of the problems that he had and achievements of the disability. And, he always kept a smile on his face, and that was, he always thought people had it worse than he did. And the doctor said, you'll never walk. Well, my dad said, yes, I will, and he walked. And, you can't do things. You can't lift a lot of things with rheumatic fever because it's going to put pressure on your heart. Well, he said, I can do anything I want to. I can lift boxes. I can go over here and do whatever I want to. And he did. He just was a very strong person in every avenue, working with sports, working with politics, working with business leaders, and he was a very, very challenging person.
He sounds like he was a phenomenal man. But what about healthcare do you want to address with District 5? Is it affordability? Is it access?
No,
is it disparities?
Actually, well, we're bringing in a lot of healthcare, private corporations into the area, and I think we have to kind of watch and help that maintain that the healthcare area of Hillsborough County and also of Tampa, make sure that we have the monies are there. Now we just have to kind of make sure that they're allotted out to the different organizations that support that from the federal government down.
Okay.
That is, and they're there. And how we can help that is not just taking away, but by going through there and making sure that we do have supplemental. And a lot of it now is, of course, increase right now from physical down to now to the mental areas and disability factoring.
Yeah.
Because and a lot of it's too, we have to figure out, we had a couple major wars. And this is working with the VA systems and also working out there. But it's not, the VA doesn't cover the spouses of the wives of the Army, so or any of the veterans that have been out there and fighting these wars and have seen this. So that is a major problem. When you start seeing this, they have the screaming and the acting out, and they just don't know what to do. But we have to kind of go and support the spouses also and the kids. And that's one of the major problems out there that we probably haven't ever thought about before. They had, but they just kind of, they swept it under the rug. We have to identify that and work out there all avenues out there with the federal government, coming up with state, and just making sure that they are aware of all these problems. So how do we do that? Well, we go on case-by-case areas out there, and we got more of the avenues of opportunity of these organizations, medical organizations coming in, and also through the state hospitals and state venturing. So
we know, in order to get things accomplished with city council, for those who don't know, Carrie can't do it by himself. Whoever is elected cannot do it by themselves.
No, we have to work together.
You have to work together, and you also need 3 other people up there on that dais who will vote with you in order to get things accomplished.
Minimally of 4, but I want to get all 7.
So what's your current standing with current city council members, and how do you plan on building that camaraderie against the other folks who are on that dais if you were to be elected?
I have a great relationship with almost every single one of the council members. Everyone. I mean, a lot of them have, I work with them. I hand out, we work out there in different kind of nonprofits and then share back and forth. They come in and present themselves, but this is not just in the council, this is outside the council. And I think that's what you have to do. You have to kind of meet the people where they are, and that be the core outside the council areas, and also working with the people the same way. It's outside their environment of their meetings, it's going and working to their events. And I work very heavily and work with the people that do the events, because that's very, very, that's the part about being a member of a servant of the community. And that's in the races, that's with the school systems out there, that's with little projects, that's with almost all the nonprofits. It's by the numbers. And if you don't have the numbers, then you kind of get sidelined. A lot of times you can't go to everything. Because you get probably around 5 to 10 a day, really. and it just can bog you down. But you do get the first ones, and you do work through them, and then you try making it. So if you didn't get one, you get another one, and further down.
Yep. Now, Carrie, we're talking about, let's switch gears and dive into affordable housing. We know that's a pressing issue here in District 5. How would you address the housing affordability in that area?
Well, besides affordability and housing, remember, a lot of the people that are living in the district, especially District 5, is people that have inherited their house from their grandparents or from their parents. And really, they might be just making a very medium or sub-medium level of income. So they have enough to maintain for their family, but they don't have enough to maintain the house. But it was inherited.
The upkeeps of it,
And all of a sudden, guess what? They're falling short. And all of a sudden, the maintenance on the house, of the roof, little things that happen during a storm, it's not because of them neglect. It's just because of the facts that it's kind of coverage of things that can't be covered. It's just things that happen because of incidents.
So how do we bridge that gap?
How do we keep that protection, I guess,
that's where we have to develop it right now, and working with other avenues in the federal government out there and keeping that doorway swinging, because it looks like they want to close that door, like for example, like for FEMA down here with this federal government, and also a lot of the money that's being taken and also redirected. This has to be put together into working with Tampa and then working with Hillsborough County hand in hand. So this is a community effort, and this is all working together. So one of the things, that's one of the areas out there that I'm thinking of, and not thinking, it's working, because we are working right now, working in Gary. Gary's where I'm living right now. And that's older than Ybor City. And some of the houses are older than Ybor City. And one of the other areas out there is working and start building out there and utilizing out there and saying, you know what, we can use some of the containers and start looking at some of the container cities that they are out there right now. And some of the container cities are doing very well. And that's a good cost savings of getting them started. We don't have to have major, they're very pretty, they're very well can be very insulated and also satisfying. For
I've
the
gone
community.
in some. I did a story with some container homes, and I was actually amazed by like it gives 1-bedroom apartment, right?
Yep.
But home.
Well, and you could stack them.
You get
There's
what I'm
so many
saying?
things you
like,
could do with them.
It's the same amount of space essentially as your typical 1-bedroom apartment that you're paying for, but this is also building generational wealth, especially if you're purchasing it as opposed to renting it. I was astonished when I walked inside a container home.
And the opportunity is the city of Tampa has a lot of land. A friend of mine's brought to my attention quite a while ago, and he showed me the land that's available out here in the city of Tampa over there in North 30th Street. And he said this area out here is what's available right now. And he's been talking with the city about doing the container homes.
Okay.
And I thought, and I think that's a great promise.
Carrie, my thing is, how are you going to fight? Or what does that fight look like against those developers? If there's land, and we all know any type of land that's in or near downtown is not going to just be given away. I mean, or given up. So you either come with deep pockets or you put your boxing gloves on and you go to war, and you better have a strong army behind you.
Well, that's an interesting point, because the area that I live, which is just east of Ybor City, that has always been a blighted area, and that's part of the District 5 that they call the Super East. Okay, the Super East area, which I live in, Gary, and the area there itself has just never been touched. It's almost off limits to any kind of redevelopment.
Why do you think that is?
And I mean, I could say, but I don't really think it's true what has really happened.
What is it? This Rooted in Priors, we're real over here.
No, really, I'm just saying, this is kind of a developmental area. They said, I don't think we really care about that area. I'm just telling you.
But why do you think they don't care?
Because they want to go where
the money at?
Yeah, where the money's at and where the wealth goes. And anyway, and that's around, and we're so close to Ybor City. We're so close to the downtown area. You can see the downtown area, but yet
you can't feel or act like you live over there.
Well, you have to act like you live there.
Well, I think what you're saying. So let me get this correct. You say you could see the downtown area, but you don't have that
feeling of being
downtown. Green grass, nice parks, nice roads, nice sidewalks.
But we just received a new park. We got a brand new park in Gary.
Okay.
How about that?
Congratulations,
All right. Yes. I mean, this is an area out there they said we never see a new park, but we have one on 10th Avenue North.
We got a grocery store.
Listen, no, that's good. No grocery store. And there's not even a grocery store in Ybor City. But I'll tell you what, we are working hard. But we got a park. You know,
you might can start a garden in that park. That'll help with your food drop.
Right. What are your thoughts on, you had these ideas, right? How do you implement them, especially if you were to be elected? The budget's going to be passed. Right. So right now, there's no District 5 representation as budget conversations and voting is taking place as it relates to the budget for the city of Tampa. And it will be over by the
time we get someone's in position.
So how do you get this stuff done?
Well, remember, you can pick and choose and, as they kind of go along. But you still have that little pressure along the way about things that need to be done in the community. And those that are already going at large, this is part of your district too. Mm-hmm. We're not just up there, Wesley Chapel. We're not just down South Tampa. We're not down over there in West Tampa.
So do you think it's accountability or like what? No, how do you attack the budget?
Well, you go out there because you start seeing where the money's going, where the money's being flowed at, and what part of that budget's not even being touched. Mm-hmm. There's parts of the budget where there's a lot of overflow of money.
So that's where you start moving.
You start moving
the coins around.
Yes, and it has been already in getting everything situated and set up. I think that's a very good point of what we're trying to do.
What do you think District 5 needs right now? What are the most pressing issues facing District 5?
I think security, safety. I think safety is, believe it or not, people say, I don't want to move there because of safety, but safety is pretty good, really.
Okay.
Yet, if you look on the map,
in District 5?
In District 5, they say that the Ybor City is the worst crime area.
Yeah.
Okay? Yet that is our historic landmark district.
Right.
And losing that, why put forces in? I mean, we're just looking at different things that are happening. Why are you pushing things out there when, they just did a major raid in Ybor City for the college kids coming out there and coming through there, and right in the middle, walking down there, just like it's a army going down the police, which is nice because you see it's being very well enforced until they start going into the bars, that same army. And then they start IDing everybody. And they found the 19 that were, not legal.
21 yet?
Yeah. They were not.
Okay.
So they wanted to put up force right away and say, hey, this is the way it's going to be when you come living in Tampa and you're going to school here. You're not going to be putting up with bullshit.
Yeah. All right.
That's true.
So Carrie, real quick, what few minutes that we have left, tell the people, tell the people who are going to walk into those polls and they see your name on the list, why should they circle that circle or
fill
check
the
that
bubble
box?
in, friend. Fill the bubble in.
Check that
bubble.
box.
Yep, you better believe it.
All the
Carrie.
above.
Yeah. Don't go outside
Carrie.
the circle either. And no, I have accomplished a lot in the city by combining and bringing people together. I do a lot of that. I meant, how do you come up there and work in just a matter of years, bring in up to 80 to 100,000 people coming to an event in Tampa in just a matter of short 5 to 8 years? How do you do that?
Right.
Well, that's what I've done. And that's what our team has done. And we continuously do that by bringing people together of all avenues. I meant from outside, inside, all over Tampa, by making it an exciting avenue, but by making things all work in a row and making parts of the puzzle come together.
Okay.
And it's people talking with, when we put this together, we have to work with all avenues of the city council. We have to work with all avenues of the city. And avenues, what I mean by that is zoning. We have to work with the police department. We work with the fire department. We work with planning. We work with permitting. Then we work with we work with Hillsborough County. We work with also the same avenues, what we have to do. And we have to go there and get it all pieced together before we can even start. We work with the sheriff and everything in that area. I think by putting those numbers together, and this is no small feat. I mean, this is a week of events, and this brings in, $8 to $10 million for the county and also for the city. And these hotels are full and booked for, that's a good half week of money, and that's coming into the coffers to the city. So, and guess what? We have not had one incident of a fight from the Tampa Police Department or from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department for any event Tampa Pride has ever put on.
Okay.
And that's in 12 years. How's that?
Well, mic drop. Congratulations,
and
also congratulations for putting your hat in the ring to actually run for this race. It takes a lot.
Yes.
I ain't gonna do
No,
it.
it is.
So I commend all 11 million of y'all running for this seat.
Well, thank you.
You are more than welcome. Carrie West, let people know how they can follow you or support you.
Yes, it's you can go to and see carolwest.com, and also you can go to, if you need to get in touch with me, it's carriepwest@gmail.com, and we'll see kind of the signs popping up. Support us at all ways. Support. You want any kind of the field signs or any of the yard signs, and support us by donation and help with the financing on that part of it also. But we just really need you to get out and vote. This is a very, very important race. As you can see that the movement of Tampa is on the growth right now, of growing and just increasing in all avenues. And this is going to be a transportation issue. It's going to be a growth issue. It's going to be a lot of issue.
We got you.
I know.
We're going to leave all them issues to y'all.
We got it.
Thank you so
Carrie,
much, Carrie,
thank you
for
for
joining
joining
us.
us
We
again.
appreciate you.
You better believe it.
Thank you for coming
so
back
much.
on Rooted
That's right.
in Progress.
Vote Carrie on starting up on there this week.
All
So
right.
That's it. Yep.
All right, we have our next guest coming in just a minute. I really feel like that's the thing, right? I think people, they got to get out to vote.
Yes.
Terrence. Like, this is,
Well,
the projections of the lack thereof is scary.
Well, and
honestly.
you have your mail-in vote ballots available now, but early voting starts next Thursday, September 4th.
Yeah.
There's no excuse, people. You got
Labor Day weekend to figure this out.
You got Labor Day weekend to figure out. You need to get out and vote. You can't sit back and complain and get upset when things don't happen when you don't get out and vote. And you don't have, if you don't have that candidate's back, then what are you doing? What are you doing?
I mean, hello. Hello? Okay, I'm with you. You ready for our next guest?
I
Our next
am.
candidate. Let's bring in Miss Alison Hewitt, candidate running for District 5 Tampa City
Yes,
Council
ma'am.
seat.
Allison,
Welcome.
welcome.
How are you? Terrence gonna fix you up. Make
Yep,
sure
yep.
make sure you fit in the shot and
Right.
all the things. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm exhausted, but
You're exhausted?
So excited, yes.
Yeah.
We're so happy to have you
Thank
among
you.
your exhaustion.
Yes.
Well, you
Yes.
look great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tell us about yourself. Tell the people who Miss Hewitt is.
Well, I appreciate this opportunity. I really love the Rooted in Progress
period.
because I am third
Commercial.
generation from East Tampa.
Okay.
So I am rooted with receipts.
There you go.
Come on for the receipt.
Exactly. So I'm third generation from East Tampa. I am a entrepreneur. My business is small business consulting, nonprofit consulting, but I have been working in the governmental process since I was 16 years old.
Wow.
Yes.
What were you doing at 16?
Hillsborough County had an executive internship program for basically smart kids who didn't really know what they wanted to
Okay.
do. My dad was the first black dentist here in town. My mom was an
wow.
academic advisor at USF, and I know I didn't want to be a teacher or a dentist. So Hillsborough County had a thing where seniors could work at the radio station. It had an internship here, work at at that time, sorry, I'm going to be aging myself.
you're
It was
okay.
Moss Brothers
Okay.
and Robinson's, and I interned with a state senator.
Wow.
A state senator. I went to session. I graduated from Chamberlain High School.
Okay.
And went to session and just got the bug. I just wanted to be part of politics. My grand scheme in life is I was going to go to school, become a legislative assistant, then be a lobbyist.
Okay.
And I left school and became a lobbyist. So I skipped that part and I lobbied for the Port of Tampa, the airport, Laurie Park Zoo, and Lifelink of Florida.
Okay.
So essentially, I've been reading bills and budgets and policies and ordinances forever.
Wow.
And so I want to really use that knowledge to make sure that the city does what it's supposed to do and that people in my neighborhood, people in District 5 have access to this incredible growth that's coming to Tampa.
Right.
But unless you make someone be able to see the people who aren't the bright, shiny objects, and if you got to make them see them with the law, with the rules, with the budget. You can't just go in with emotions and say, you really should do better. No, you really got to say, you got to do better because this part of the policy says you have to. This part of the budget says you need to do this. And so I really want to take my experience and make sure that everyone feels this growth in Tampa.
You talk about running because you feel like District 5 needs to have a seat at the table.
Yes.
We know this position came open because of the late
Yes.
Gwen Henderson's passing. Do you feel like under her leadership that we did not have a seat at the table? And how are you planning to represent District 5 and bringing that to the table?
Yes. Great question. Councilwoman Henderson was relatively new to the governmental process, and she was just getting up to speed.
Okay.
And so, because it can be very complicated. Once you have to do the budget, there's the comprehensive plan is going to be reviewed right now, future land use, and there is a lot to learn. And I think that given time, then she would have been able to fight more for that seat at the table. But all the time that's happening, then this growth, because you understand that District 5 from Sulphur Springs all the way down to Palmetto Beach, and then you see Channelside. Again, I'm third generation from here, so I remember when I was told you can't go down to Channelside.
Yeah.
Not after 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And now that's the place to go.
Right.
I remember when downtown shut down. And so now downtown is all night. And I think that what we have to do now is make sure that the people's voice is not, again, not based with emotions and you're not doing right by us, but this is reason why you have to do right by us.
Right.
You know,
Right.
there's a project for 900 affordable housing on West River. Where's the update? Why hasn't that started? You know, there's an agenda item on the agenda for tomorrow that is about code enforcement and strengthening code enforcement. But I have pictures where the city-owned properties have weeds growing through in the building. So if you're going to start trying to go, because you don't know what some of these people are going through, they might be ill, they might be sick.
Right.
And so falling behind to not be able to take care of their property. But if the city doesn't take care of the property that they have a budget for and they have staff, no. Leave the people alone until you do right by the property that you own in the hood, in my neighborhood, 22nd.
Wow.
And there's an agenda out right now. Repeat that. There's over 900 affordable housing.
900. Now this one's not on the agenda, but it has been. There's 900 affordable units on West River that has been approved in the city budget 2 years ago. Still not built. And but so I'm a nerd. I will go ahead and admit that. And so every Sunday.
And that's fine. Oh, I know Jason.
Yeah.
Jason was just in one of your photos.
Yes, he has been. He's on 29th Street, right down the street from where my daddy's office was.
Oh.
And he and
sorry,
his.
that threw me off.
Sorry. Yeah,
as we see.
Yes. I looked at that picture. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, so that's my team. But every Sunday I review the city council budget for Thursday, just to make sure anything that the community needs to know about. I'm really active in the CRA's community redevelopment areas, and so so this Sunday. You know what you do for fun? You read the council agenda.
Read the council agenda,
and you see how it's going to impact your community. I will say historically, I've been focused on East Tampa when I review it, but now I've reviewed it for the entire District 5, and so I will be 9 o'clock in the morning, public comments, putting information on the record to make sure that we're represented well through this agenda, at least District 5.
So why now? Sorry, to cut you off, Terrence. Why now? Why do you feel now is the time for you to run for this seat?
Well, for the last probably since, in 2018, then Councilman Goods and Councilman Dienfelder talked to me about how do we mitigate gentrification in East Tampa. Okay. And I created a pre-development program that is where property owners can have soft costs to develop their properties, engineering, architecture, design. Okay. And that was in 2018. I presented it to the city council. It passed unanimously. It has not been instituted yet. 2018. And I am seeing, my mother lives on MLK. She gets an offer for her property twice a day. And all these seniors are getting the offers for their property when they can make their property work for them. And so here I am still trying to make sure you work with the city, and they have not. It takes them 5 years to implement a program that's going to help people save their property, help people have. And so when this unfortunate time is was open, I see what's coming down the road, because again, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evenings, and here I am reading the reading the council. I follow the budgets. I've been making. I used to be. I was appointed on the Citizens Budget Committee. I've sat on that, and I've been doing the work for years now. And so I know as Councilwoman Henderson was gearing up, I've geared up. And I know folks that say they're day one ready. You just need to sit me and tell me my computer is.
Okay.
I know the issues.
That's pressure I ain't heard yet from a candidate, Terrence.
I know, right?
I ain't heard that kind of pressure yet from me.
So District 5 is represented by a very large, diverse communities. How are you planning on representing every one of those voices from those communities?
By communicating, by being out there. So part of my history is I worked for Jeb Bush. I was a special assistant for him, and then I also was a director of the Office of Urban Opportunity for the state of Florida. So he had grassroots economic development all over the state. Right. Well, what he did, too, was he did Capital for a Day. And so he used to bring the capital to different areas of the state. Well, I will have councilwoman hours for a day, at least once a month. I will have the time when I go out to Sulphur Springs and I sit in a business or a restaurant all day. I let the community know I'll be there to listen to them, to take their concerns and work on it. I will be in Channelside. I'll be in East Tampa. But I am, rather than having them go downtown, I had to fight for parking and try to get up in the office. Right. I want to bring government to them. And I will be solution-based, because there's not too many questions that you can ask me that I don't know a way to be able to start negotiating to make it done.
Well, and I think so. I'm hearing a pattern, and I'm gonna bring up issues that we've heard, even from elected officials locally, right? You mentioned an initiative from the city of Tampa that you got passed and you worked with former Councilman Goods on 2018. Still nothing has been done. 2 years ago, there was an initiative to have 900 affordable housing units built. Nothing has been done. You think about why Rooted is here in general. The Racial Reconciliation Committee passed something way back in 2020. Took our program for it to even become more of a topic again.
Conversation.
Exactly.
A conversation.
Yeah, a recent conversation.
New kind of finesse things happen with that too. It's a pattern where we're seeing things that okay, we signed it. Look at us. We're great. But then there's no implementation. There's no follow-up. So what will you do differently? If we're talking about a pattern that, in my opinion, if we just went back to 2018, I'm sure...
Oh, yes.
If we go back, I'm sure there's some later dates of things that maybe got passed back in 2008 that still ain't happened,
exactly.
Right? What are you going to do differently to make sure that that doesn't keep happening?
Has to be priority issues of that elected officials. Example, Councilman Vieira. Helping the special needs is something you hear about him talking about every day. You hear that he keeps it in the spotlight. You've got to keep these issues up front. Because the agenda on Thursday has 80 items on it,
right?
And so every agenda is huge. And so if you are not, if you don't have your priority list that you are keeping up front every day, then it can get lost in the sauce.
Right.
It really can. So you've got to say, okay, because for the racial reconciliation. How do you address decades of inequity in 6 months? That community, that committee needs to be stood up. It needs to be given staff and given staff who knows how to analyze data.
Correct.
Because we're not just saying
that's what they're asking for.
Yes, we're not just saying we want restitution. No, we want long-term systemic change to be able to have equity in our community, and that is going to take someone who's looking at the data to find out where those changes need to go. I just mentioned code enforcement. They've taken our property using code enforcement. They need that data. They need the data where the young people are being having the conflicts with the police. They need that data. They need the data. They need a staff person who knows how to analyze data to give them recommendations to then discuss. Because the people in that committee are passionate about it, but that's not what they do. They're not data analysts. They don't put together policies. We've got to fund them to be able to make sure that they have the equipment to make these recommendations, to discuss it, to bring systematic change. For generational wealth. And again, not does everyone saying, oh, we want restitution. No. We want a systematic change for equity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
That's good.
Not just a check. I want many checks for generations.
You mentioned policing and safety is a huge concern with residents in District 5. What strategies do you plan to put in effect to make sure that a lot of those communities, which are gang related or have a lot of gang related action in it, those residents are safe and there's a open line of communication for police with the residents?
And I'm going to beat this dead horse. It's data.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
Because each area may seem like they have the same issues, but their reason for those issues may be different. And so in one area that might have the gang-related issues may have very limited small business activity. And so maybe it is to increase our small businesses there so they can hire, so people aren't turning to the gangs for either a distraction or, quite honestly, to make money to feed their family.
Okay.
I mean, the economy is challenging. So we've got to look at the data on where those hot spots are. And then analyze those hot spots and then create it, because it's not one size fits all. We can't just we're going to have this one program, and what happens in Sulphur Springs is not the same as what happens in East Tampa.
Right.
It is definitely not the same as West Tampa. And so we've got to get the data first.
Michelle ain't the same as Genocide.
Exactly. Where my office is. So I totally know. You go down at night and you may have the people on the skateboards. Yeah. So
shout out to the people on the skateboard.
Exactly.
I definitely hear what you're saying, particularly because it's when you look at solutions, it can't be a one size fit all.
Absolutely
when you're
not.
talking about a district of 45,000 people.
Correct.
I'm gonna play off what you said earlier. How put me in a seat. I'm ready day one.
Exactly.
Day one. What's the agenda? what's the most pressing thing? What's the first thing you're thinking about doing and wanting to accomplish or get across, right? Or communicated if you are to be elected?
Day one will be after I have made sure that we are looking at the budget. Now, there's 2 potential day ones.
Okay.
One day one is September 10th. It was just a landslide on September 9th. And then that would have you at the seat during the budget hearings. And so day one would make sure that all the issues, all the items that are in the budget for District 5, I am ready to fight for or amend or change because right now the budget is in the hands of the city council. So It's not the mayor's budget.
Right.
This is now the city council's budget for them to be able to put together. So we can do that if, it's just an absolute wonderful September 9th and I'm there September 10th. But if it's in October and October 28th, exactly, and the budget is passed, then we are looking at a combination of the budget and the comprehensive plan.
Okay.
Because right now the comprehensive plan has a significant amount of density that they're trying to talk about. Okay. But understand that most of the density are going into South Tampa when we need density in East Tampa. We need options in East Tampa. We need people to be able to want to come home and live. But sometimes when you come home, you can't just buy a house right away. Yeah. So what about nice condos or nice apartments or townhouses? But the ability to have it. Exactly.
And that ain't $500,000.
Yes, right. Exactly. But again, don't get me into the whole affordable, because if you don't create the jobs to make sure that people can pay for their housing, then if you're not paying people, so it's got to be a...
Hold that thought.
We're going to get to it.
Exactly. So in October, it would be making sure that I am on top of the comprehensive plan, where it is in approval, and the future land use to actually say that we need to work on density. Again, I know we're on TV, and I'm going to go ahead and say this anyway. But with 7,000 new units coming to Ybor and 15,000 new units coming to Channelside, if they ever think they're going to elect another black person from District 5, it's not going to happen unless we have some density in the place where black people live.
Wow.
Okay.
That's good.
So.
All right. Well,
hey.
Let's because we've asked just about every candidate we had on here about affordable housing. What is your plan on affordable housing?
Mine is to focus on small local development. Because I said each area is different. Yeah. And so in Sulphur Springs, they are tired of the duplex type of style. Okay. But if you see the new styles they're doing in West Tampa with duplexes and triplexes, we need to make sure that we're talking to that community on how to do density so again, not one size fits all. Right. Yeah. In East Tampa, we want to really get the pre-development. That's what the CRA implemented, because we have another a young lady who is able to put 21 units on property that she owns that her sister left with her after probate. 21 units. Wow. And so we need to find out those other people who have those little pockets of land to be able to create affordable housing, because again, the people who have been there for generations and who want to stay there, they're trying to make sure that they're providing opportunities. Now, Channelside, downtown, they're CRAs, community redevelopment areas, and they have committed to and been instructed to 30% of their budget has to go to create affordable housing. Is
that happening?
It actually, they had a presentation at the Channelside CAC Community Advisory Committee, and they were they were at 80% and 120 of AMI, average median income. So that's about at $50,000 a year.
Okay.
And so...
Okay.
So,
Getting there.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
You're right.
But to make sure that each one of those 30% in Ybor and Channelside and West Tampa and Tampa Heights is actually done with potential local developers who feel the pinch, not a developer who's going to come in, make their money and leave. Because what I have seen is the developers here locally who have to stay here and look people in the eye at the grocery store, they're more apt to make sure they're doing at 30% and 50% average median income.
Okay. That brings me to the whole race stadium. Like if it does come here to Tampa, it'll be right on in District 5.
Yes.
How do you make sure the people of District 5 benefit from that and don't actually suffer or have to pay for it all?
There are so many avenues to be able to address that. One, to have not people pay is a CRA. Either you expand the existing redevelopment area boundaries, or you do a redevelopment boundary around there.
Okay.
And so because it is on the taxes from that area, they can borrow against future taxes generated from the stadium. And so essentially, they do forecasting. Understand, I'm good at a lot of things. Numbers are not one of them. I would need my calculator right here, and I don't have my phone.
That's okay.
And so one way would be we'd have to have a strong conversation about using the CRA dollars to potentially build it. And two, just like we had the Racial Reconciliation Commission, I would make sure that we create a community impact committee.
Right.
And that is not only the impact to the people who will have to be moved out. Now, one of the places that they're talking about is not a lot of people there. It's a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
That's still an impact, though, with jobs.
Right.
So a community impact committee to work on that aspect of it. And not only that, to when we build it, we need to make sure that the community gets its fair share of the money it takes to build it, as well as jobs and apprenticeships. But that will be something that you have to pay attention to even before the pen hits the paper.
Right.
Yeah.
You've got to go in strong. The community has to be together. The community has to be educated. And I will be one of those councilmen who are, I mean, the people are going to get sick of me.
That's what
This is going to be on the agenda. This is coming up, people. I
Right.
need you here
but you
because
can't do it by yourself.
exactly.
And you really got to get the people on board to back whatever plan you have.
Absolutely.
And to listen as you cry out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you are here and you're in the news. How often do you hear what's on the agenda?
Oh,
How often do
not
you
often
hear,
at all.
except when development start?
Right.
And
Right.
or
Right.
there's a problem. Oh, no. When it's coming down the line, y'all going to get an email. Just FYI, in case
It's
you're
already
interested.
here.
Well, only time
Yes.
you hear about an agenda when it's something that benefits them.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? When
Or that
it's-
particular
yeah.
community.
We
Right.
need
Yeah.
communication. We need transparency. We need accountability.
Accountability.
Yes.
Absolutely.
How are you? We talked about you can't do it by yourself. Obviously, you're gonna enter a dais of seven people total, right? So you
Yeah.
need 3 other people to get things passed.
Absolutely.
How are your current relationships with the current city council members, and how are you planning to work and build that camaraderie if elected?
Have a great relationship right now because they're used to seeing me coming before city council, writing them letters, giving my opinion. So they know me. Once I am there, because of sunshine, I will not be able to talk to them. So one of the avenues I plan on continuing to use is I have been secretary of THAN, the Tampa Homeowners Association's group.
Okay.
And so I was secretary. So that's when all the neighborhood associations from all the city, we meet once a month and they say the issues that are happening in their city, in their neighborhoods. Well, those are neighborhoods that other councilmen have. I can hear the issues. They don't have to tell me. Because the community will be talking. They already know me. I've been there for 2 years and secretary for 1.5 years. But if I know what my fellow councilmen are dealing with and these neighborhoods are the ones that are going to be contacting their councilmen and giving them the issues, I'll be able to bring up on a day as well. In South County, Bill Carlson, I've heard that they're talking about this and this is an issue. And I think I agree with that or don't agree with that, but they will know that I am listening to the issues that they are being brought all the time. And so they'll know that I will be their partner in making sure that their constituents are heard as well.
One last question before we start wrapping. Of course, again, bringing up the passing of Gwen Henderson. Like, what made you decide, like, now is the time, I'm about to throw my hat in the race, and how did you prepare for that?
I prayed.
Okay.
There we go.
Period. That's it. You don't have to say nothing else.
Because I've been working in the community so much, I am used to the one that does the proposals and writes the presentations. I'm not the one that talks about Alison at the mic.
Okay.
I'm the one that goes to the mic and say, you need to do this, Y, Z, because I represent. So I'm trying to get comfortable in doing this and saying, oh, let's talk about Alison. No, I'd rather debate you about the issues. And so I prayed and I talked to my family. Now my family exists. I have my aunt, my mom, and my sister. So because once you run, your family runs.
Yeah.
But I just asked him if this was the time. And I got clearly in my spirit that now, yes, use your resume to make a difference.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. It takes a lot to, especially if that's not the mindset and how you've moved ever. You've done the work, right?
Yes.
But to be the forefront of the work is a whole nother beast within itself. So congratulations to you. I have a question because I'm looking on my sheet here. Did you go to FAM? What's the background between orange and green?
Oh yeah, mama, daddy, aunts, uncles, cousins. My daddy actually went to when it was FAMC before it became a university. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm from Tallahassee.
My mama's from Bluntstown.
No.
There you go. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, while we have this family reunion here,
I had to ask because everything. I feel like every time I see you, you're in orange and green, and then I'm realizing that's a part of your campaign, and I'm like, I just feel like you know a rattler when you see a rattler.
Yeah,
you do.
yes,
That you do.
They my family. Cause
there you
so
go.
when I got into this, I need to make sure I covered myself and the people who covered me and help me grow.
Great.
So
That is amazing. So how can the people support you, follow you as you all head toward September 9th?
as you will probably hear, Alison Hewitt, HewittWillDoIt.com. HewittWillDoIt.com.
That's good.
Yes, if you got 14
HewittWillDoIt.com.
people on the list, you got to do something to make your name be remembered. HewittWillDoIt.com, please. You can find out information about me, got my contact information, send me questions on the email, send money if you like to contribute. You can do it at HewittWillDoIt.com, all of the above.
Well, Alison, good luck to you, and thank you for joining us on
Thank
Rooted
you.
in Progress.
We really appreciate having you.
you.
Come
Absolutely.
on. It's always when they wait to say, and give. We need money.
Yeah, that should be the first thing.
Listen,
You know?
I would struggle doing that. Like, I need your coins.
Right.
Meow.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Oh yeah, by the way, my name is Alison Hewitt.
Right. But
Coins
also,
first,
but
then the name.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yes.
Hey, thank you all for joining us on this special edition of Rooted in Progress
Absolutely.
on a Wednesday. But hey, we will be live again on Thursday, tomorrow. That's what I mean. 9:30 in the morning.
Yes.
We're live on the WFLA Facebook page and the WFLA app. You can go back, send this episode, send it to your friends, your mamas, your cousins. Allison, don't leave. We need to take a picture. And make sure you follow Rooted in Progress on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.
Yo, one more thing. We will be live 9:30 on Thursday, unless someone else throw their hat in the race.
Hell no.
You can't do that.
They can't
no
do
more
it no
ideas.
more.
Yes. So we'll be back to our regular scheduled program.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
Stay
Stay
rooted,
rooted.
folks.